Hey, so that's life at 33 and a third RPM. Hey, this is Thrift Store Vinyl Finds 22, and I may think it might be Harbinger of summer because I kind of lucked out at this one Goodwill. It's kind of near where I worked, and to make a long story short, I the day that I end my work week, sometimes I go back to this Goodwill, and then but I didn't find anything, and then the Saturday I was going on my way somewhere else, and I was going past that area, and I said, well, but I was already there and I didn't find anything. I thought, well, you never know. So then I ended up stopping in again the next day. Well, the next day was like the charm because I did find some cool finds here, including some records by, I guess you would call, the ambassadors of summer themselves, the Beach Boys. So here we go. We're gonna get into the finds here. I got some other cool things too here. My first one here is this. I think this guy was kind of like one of the early teen idols of the early '60s. I think he had a couple well-known records, hits or whatever. But this is I found this by Johnny Tillotson. Keeps right on a hurtin'. So that was kind of fun to find. I'm always looking for stuff like this, stuff that that's on cadence. So it's something that's been out of print forever, you know. Now here's the next thing. The Seekers were kind of a folk pop, I guess, group or whatever, singing group, and I think they were from Australia, if my memory suits me. And I have a couple records by them. I have the Georgie Girl record and another record, but I found this one. It might be a later record. Seekers Seen in Green, and it's has like a gatefold there, and yeah, I'll show you the disc. It's on Capitol. And the disc seems to be in pretty good shape. I think I just put my needle down on different parts of this and just to get a sample of what it was. So that's the Seekers. This is kind of this Rolling Stones record. I'm pretty much trying to collect anything Rolling Stones, trying to get back some stuff that I used to have. But I never did have this record. But this is Through the Past Darkly, Big Hits Volume 2. Of course, it's I think this came in two versions. If I recall, it has this kind of octagonal jacket, and then it had like a square one too. So I don't know, this might have some collector value. I don't know. But the disc is in kind of mediocre shape. I tried, you know, played some tracks or whatever. I mean, it's playable, but you know, it was only $1, so all these are only $1. So here's a Beatles record that I never had. It was kind of their kind of a compilation that they released by themselves, if my memory suits me. This was the Hey Jude record, and this is the one that's just the Apple only. There's no Capitol logo. See, this is recorded and manufactured by Apple Records, New York, whatever. It's in decent shape too. Okay, now we're going to get into the my Beach Boys finds, and I never had any of these yet. So like I said, I've been looking for Beach Boys stuff too. But this was their this is a latter album by them, MIU record. No real hits off of this, but it's good to have, I guess. Yeah, I can't really see any no familiar tracks on there. I haven't really got into that one. This one is a of course, you know, Capitol, they released so many compilations to try to keep some revenue coming in off the Beach Boys. You know, since like the mid 70s, you know, seems like every few years they would release a compilation. This was it's one called American Summer, and it's on Capitol. You can see the right there, and it's in pretty much mint condition. I think that's the like the late 70s era Capitol label there, the orange label. These are in mint condition. I kind of put my needle down on most of the tracks there. It's got some kind of oddball stuff mixed in with some of the hits here, you know. Like it's got like 409, Dance, 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 Do You Wanna Dance? But then it's got like, I don't know, And Your Dream Comes True and Pom Pom Playgirl. I don't know what that is. Summer Means New Love. So it's kind of mix of stuff there, but it's in mint condition, so that's what matters. Now these are I think my really cool finds here, Beach Boy finds. These are by about 1968, 69, the Beach Boys were not really selling many records. They had pretty much disappeared off the radar as far as trying to be cutting edge or whatever. If you know the history of the Beach Boys, Brian had pretty much started his retreat from reality. But anyway, the rest of the group was kind of soldiering on with touring, and I think Carl kind of stepped up front as more of a creative force in writing and recording in the group. But this was a cool find. This is their 2020 album. And it's got an interesting little eye test, and my vision has really gone bad in the last few years with my age. But anyway, this is kind of an interesting gatefold here. You can take an eye test here with Brian, I guess. So, and this is it's the Capitol Rainbow label there, and this disc is, I think, in mint condition pretty much. So this is a very cool find. I mean, you don't come across this record. I think maybe only one other time have I ever come across this album, and it was in pretty beat up shape. So I was super happy to get this for $1. That's 2020 there. This is another one from that era, original material. This was their Surf's Up record. It's got some kind of familiar tracks. It's got Student Demonstration Time, which actually they didn't write that record, but I've seen videos of them. I mean, they were trying to be, like I said, they were trying to be relevant in shows, and I've seen like videos of them doing that record back in the late 60s or whatever, when all these, you know, demonstrations and things were going on. I know quick story, when I was a kid, when we used to drive to my grandparents' house in Sauk County in Wisconsin, which is like southern Wisconsin, in the dairy farm belt there. But we used to drive through Madison, and Madison was the University of Wisconsin campus. So it was a real hotbed of student activity, student protests back in the late 60s, early 70s. In fact, even there was the bombing of one of the university buildings by some radical activist guy. I think his name was Carlin Armstrong, by the way. So there's a little history record, or history lesson there. But anyway, this is, like I said, this one actually is on their brother records, kind of like their little vanity company they started when they hooked up with the Warner Brothers Reprise. And this one is also pretty much in mint condition. So this is a very cool find here. This one's got I think a lyric. It's got this lyric sheet. Or is that a sleeve? No, it's got a. That's kind of weird, huh? Pretty dry. That's pretty California now, with their drought. And there's their lyrics. In fact, when I found this in the rack at Goodwill, this was not in the jacket. I noticed it, and it was like out, and I thought, well, why is this outside there? So I recovered it and put it back with the record there. Okay, my last find here, which is a Beach Boys find. This is kind of a cool package here. It's a double album, but it's two different records. It's not like a double of the same. Carl Wilson, like I said, he kind of stepped out front more as a creative force to try to take up the vacuum of the absence of Brian. But he started, I think he started this, it was like a side project, and he actually toured too as this group. He called himself Carl and the Passions, okay? So this is Carl and the Passions, So Tough. But that's just one of the records here. I'll show you. See, there's So Tough. And then you've got Pet Sounds. You got the Pet Sounds record. See, here's the Pet Sounds photo. Of course, there's the. So it's kind of a interesting package there. You get like some of the past and some of the something a little more recent here. And these are also on the Brother records there. These are also mint condition too. I played some tracks off these, so all in all, a very cool finds there. You know, hopefully we'll have a warm summer too. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm not gonna complain I don't care if it gets hot this year. I hope it does after our winter up here. So I hope you appreciated these finds, and there's nothing cooler than say spend some time, appreciate the weather now, and then you come in and then you can put on your air conditioning. I hope if you have it like I do, and then put on a record and relax. So whatever you're doing, I hope you are doing well. I know people in the vinyl community, there's some people grumbling, oh, some people's videos are too long or blah blah blah. Well, I try to put some personality in some of my videos to try to make them a little more interesting, besides some of the other interests I have, and I haven't really had time to make videos or whatever. I'm working on some others, and I have a whole lot of other records that I haven't shown yet that I want to make videos of, but I just haven't had the time with my work schedule and that. So I'll let you go right now, and thank you for watching, and like I said, as always, keep it groovy. See you later. Bye.